Joe, do you think you have enough saved up for retirement?
Not as much as I'd like, but I'm not worried. Why?
I was thinking you could buy a pig farm.
Why would I want a pig farm?
There's no shortage of people needing to be disappeared, and apparently, feeding a body to pigs is a great way to dispose of evidence.
I'm not going to spend my retirement killing people.
That's not what I mean. You charge the killers to dispose of the bodies for them.
That seems like a lot of work for retirement, George.
Yeah, but it also means bacon whenever you want it.
You might be onto something. Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast with global moves and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romaka. Today we're discussing Snatch from 2000 and some historical context.
I could go for some Snatch myself.
Of course you could, Joe, yes.
You weren't ready for that answer, really? You weren't prepared for me to say something like that?
I was. I just was kind of hoping you wouldn't.
How long have you known me? You know I would have.
Well, first, let's go over some podcasty stuff.
Yes.
We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com, on Facebook, Letterboxd, and on our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even when all bets are off, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/dtswpod.
Was that your attempt at a British accent when you said all bets are off?
You've heard me attempt British accents plenty of times, Joe. You know that I suck at them.
I don't. I'm great at them. Ew! All bets are off! You bloody bastard! Ew! You sod! That's
yep.
Britishism.
Okay.
Ew, you bloody bastard! Ew! Okay, now George,
off.
Sod off! That's it!
Sod off.
Sod off! What's a sod?
I think that means pack dirt.
Is it like General Zod from Superman? No?
No. Because I think I just explained why it's that.
Ah, that makes sense. All right, anyway, enough of this tomfoolery. George, take us back to 2000.
And this is the way it was.
This movie is about, among other things, diamonds.
Which are forever.
The Independent of London, Greater London, England, was kind enough to serve me 3 stories about them on one page. So, Joe, give us the first headline.
Greed, fear, and shady deals in the back of a Toyota.
For background, in March of 1991, greed and widespread economic inequality came to a head in Sierra Leone. The Revolutionary United Front, or RUF, backed by the dictator of neighboring Liberia, began a civil war that would last 11 years, promising to distribute the wealth of the nation's diamond industry and doing nothing that would indicate they meant to follow through with that. Both the RUF and the Sierra Leone Army, SLA, were brutal, uncompassionate, and greedy. They killed, raped, and looted, and maimed with reckless abandon. The rebels conscripted child soldiers, feeding them a mixture of gunpowder and cocaine called Brown Brown to make them effective
Wait, what? The cocaine I get, but what was the gunpowder supposed to do?
Apparently, it made the cocaine get absorbed faster into their bloodstream.
Jesus.
Right? A third faction, the Commagers, rose up to protect the citizens from both, and eventually became just as brutal and greedy as the other two.
Great.
So, the financing of this war was largely through the sale of what became known as blood diamonds. All factions had a sort of weird tacit understanding that allowed the diamond trade to continue. In this story from The Independent, one was being sold to a broker for twice what it would sell for in the UK. In 1999, an RUF leader was released from prison and made head of the Commission for the Management of Strategic Resources. He'd later be found to have been diverting 10% of the diamonds to himself, 10% to his deputy, 30% to finance weapons purchases, and the rest to the Liberian dictator that supported them. None of it, of course, went to the citizens of Sierra Leone.
Wow, what a depressing story you let off with.
Yep. And I did that on purpose because that way I had somewhere to go from there upwards.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. I think we'd both agree that we have a responsibility to be ethical in where we put our money. Of course, we as a species are great at rationalizing less than ethical choices. Joe, give us our second headline also from The Independent.
In Hatton Garden, it's 22-carat business.
At Hatton Garden, the center of London's jewelry trade, a few shoppers were interviewed about their prospective purchases. One lady was just recently engaged and had never heard of blood diamonds. She would, quote, just hope that her diamond did not come from anywhere bad.
Okay.
One bloke who had a son serving with the British in Sierra Leone didn't believe that the new measures to curtail the trade of blood diamonds would work. He said there are too many people willing to turn a blind eye. An American lady said that she could never look at diamonds as being somehow unethical because they weren't living things. She contrasted them with furs.
What?
Yep, it's as stupid as it sounds, Joe. A Swedish shopper had never heard of blood diamonds, but believed that she could just ask any jeweler where a diamond came from, as though they all had chain of custody paperwork akin to nuclear waste.
Just ask any diamond dealer you happen to see. Is it blood diamonds and chicken in the sea? That's chicken in the sea.
Yep.
So.
Yep, sure was, Joe. Finally, a Guyanese tourist who had seen her nation plundered for its gold said she'd be happy to see diamonds be banned entirely if it meant an end to their use in financing a bloody civil war.
Why, other than they're shiny, are diamonds important? I'm like, what else do diamonds do? That's a serious question. I actually don't know.
I mean, industrially, they are really good for cutting things.
Okay.
But that's industrially. Otherwise, their entire value is based on marketing to women.
So really, this is an issue we, as consumers, can do something about.
Mm-hmm.
You just stop buying diamonds.
That is almost what it came to, but it didn't have to. Now, to be fair, I don't even know if I had heard the term blood diamonds until the mid-2010s. Why wasn't this the absolute lead story everywhere? Because it didn't have to be. Joe, give us our last headline also from The Independent.
How a little band of London activists forced the diamond trade to confront the blood on its hands.
In 1993, 4 people founded Global Witness, an environmental/human rights group seeking to leverage the UN to curtail atrocities based on the ravaging of natural resources. They started in Cambodia, where timber was funding the Khmer Rouge, and got Thailand to stop buying it. Then they turned to diamonds, not in Sierra Leone, at least not yet, but Angola, where diamonds were funding the UNITA rebels and lobbied ferociously for sanctions. When the British got involved in Sierra Leone, blood diamonds entered the vernacular. The thing is that the world's diamond industry was aware of the problem but had no backbone to deal with it until Global Witness prodded them. The diamond industry agreed to adopt exactly what that one lady thought was already there. A mine-to-finger accountability chain for every diamond to be sold, and the diamond industry agreed to it without so much as a whimper of protest.
Wow.
De Beers, who controlled 60% of the world's diamonds, decided to stop buying the world's surplus of diamonds, which was like turning off the spigot to illegal traders. As of 2000, Global Witness had a staff of 9 people, which just goes to show that it doesn't always take an army to make meaningful change. Now, the reason the diamond industry caved so quickly is because the next step would have been a boycott, would have been publicizing the role of diamonds in atrocity to the public. There were like 3,000 churches that were all set to deliver sermons discouraging their congregants from buying diamond engagement rings when they went to get married.
Ah.
And they dropped those sermons when the industry was like, no, we don't really want people dying for our fucking shit.
Or at least we don't want to get heat for it.
Yeah. Which, look, I'm okay with, like, result is a result.
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. Although, this group was called Global Witness.
Mm-hmm.
Were they a spinoff of Jehovah's Witness?
No. Because Jehovah's Witnesses don't do shit for the world other than, like, set up stands in the fucking subways and hawk their garbage at people.
Oh my God. Write your angry emails to George Ramaka.
Yes, I'm a militant atheist.
Care of Does This Still Work? I am shocked that he would say anything bad about religion.
Yeah, well, Joe, let's do what we all know you want to do and talk about Snatch.
My favorite. Okay, let's get into who directed this. This is written and directed by the ex-husband of Madonna, Guy Ritchie. And both George and I know his work from Young Sherlock. We watched one episode of the TV series because George's wife had it on when I came to visit.
Yep.
And I've seen his work in The Gentleman. Blurbs. IMDb says, unscrupulous boxing promoters, violent bookmakers, a Russian gangster, incompetent amateur robbers, and supposedly Jewish jewelers fight to track down a priceless stolen diamond.
Okay.
YouTube says, Guy Ritchie, writer/director of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, delivers another awe-inspiring directorial masterpiece, Snatch! An edgy and hilarious film about a diamond heist gone wrong, a colorful Irish gypsy turned prizefighter, and a very temperamental dog. In the heart of... That doesn't make any sense. An edgy and hilarious...
You didn't write it, Joe. In your defense.
I know, but I'm trying to prove an edgy and hilarious film about a diamond heist gone wrong, a colorful Irish gypsy turned prizefighter, and a very temperamental dog. All right.
Okay, yeah, it's a list.
In the heart
We know that on this podcast we have a hard time reading lists.
We have a hard time reading, period. In the heart of gangland, 2 novice, unlicensed boxing promoters, Turkish Jason Statham and Tommy Stephen Graham, get roped into organizing a rigged bare-knuckle fight with local kingpin/villain and fellow boxing promoter Brick Top, Alan Ford. You know, great name would have been Bricked Up, but never mind. But also goes wrong when wild-card Irish gypsy boxer, one-punch Mickey O'Neill, Brad Pitt, starts playing by his own rules, and the duo find themselves heading for a whole lot of trouble. Meanwhile, Frankie Four Fingers, Benicio del Toro, and his stolen 86-carat diamond have gone missing in London. Head honcho Avi, Dennis Farina, hires local legend Bullet-Toothed Tony, Vinnie Jones, to find them, launching everyone into a spiral of double-crossing vendettas and events, most of them illegal.
While you were reading that, I put Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels on our list because I feel like it needs to be there.
I feel that it doesn't, but that's fine. Anyway, these are some of the characters we shall discuss. Turkish is played by Jason Statham, and I've seen his work in Fast X, Fast 9, The First Saga, and Wrath of Man.
And I've seen him in The Transporter.
Tommy is played by Stephen Graham. I've seen him in Venom, The Last Dance, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and The Irishman.
And I've seen him in Gangs of New York and Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Frankie Four Fingers is played by Benicio del Toro, and we've seen him for the podcast in Sin City. And both George and I have seen him in Avengers Infinity War and Guardians of the Galaxy, and I've seen him in The Usual Suspects, One Battle After Another, where he lost an Oscar to Sean Penn for the same movie, The French Dispatch, and Thor: The Dark World.
And I've seen him in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Cousin Avi is played by Dennis Farina, and I've seen him in Get Shorty, Out of Sight, Another Stakeout, and JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling.
And I put Get Shorty on the list earlier today because I realized I should probably see that movie.
Sure.
And I've seen him in Saving Private Ryan.
Mickey O'Neill is played by Brad Pitt. I don't know why I said it that way.
I don't either, Joe.
For the podcast, we've seen his work in Fight Club, 7 Years in Tibet, 7, Thelma and Louise, and 12 Years a Slave. Both George and I have seen him in 12 Monkeys, Deadpool 2, Inglourious Bastards, and Interview with a Vampire. And I've seen him in Bullet Train, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Being John Malkovich, Legends of the Fall, The Big Short, Burn After Reading, True Romance, and No Way Out.
And I've seen him in The Mexican, Ocean's 11, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and heard him in Megamind.
What the hell is Megamind? I never even heard of that movie.
It's a
Cartoon?
animated, yeah. Sort of. I mean, 3D animation. Yeah.
Not familiar. Doug the Head is played by Mike Reed, and I've seen him in EastEnders. And all our UK listeners will know that soap opera. That is a soap, George, just so you know.
Okay.
That's the theme music.
Okay, then.
I discovered that on PBS and then continued to watch it a little later on Channel 21, I guess, whatever. And then I stopped. But it's one of those soaps that were trying to be more realistic than typical soap operas, so they showed it about poor people. Or at least suddenly they weren't as rich as you would find, especially in American soaps. And they actually, the characters made money, a lot of them. One group of characters own a bar. And that was where a lot of characters went to because, UK culture is centered around the pub.
Okay.
And the others made money either by driving taxis or selling goods outdoors. So, not wealthy.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me get into this. So I want to start this summary in an unusual place.
Okay. The back of a Volkswagen?
Not in the back of a Volkswagen, but about Jews. This movie opens with guys pretending to be Jewish jewelry brokers so they can steal a very expensive diamond. There are two other characters, one named Doug the Head and the other Frankie Four Fingers, who also pretend to be Jewish. Now, here's my question. What is the deal with Jews and the UK? I think the characters are pretending to be Jewish because Guy Ritchie or somebody was worried if they were actually Jewish, they might be accused of anti-Semitism. But I want to stick with the idea of them being Jewish because I want to ask a question. Are Jews the other in the UK? Because for me, they are another set of white people, but whenever a character is Jewish in the British entertainment I've seen, they're always kosher, they have to wear a yarmulke, and frequently they dress like Hasidic Jews. This is very alien to me. I live in New York. Ostensibly, I was in comedy. I know and knew a lot of Jews. They behave and have behaved like every other white person I have ever met. Forget Hasidim, the Sids are their own thing. The vast majority of Jews I've met don't dress like that. So why does the UK do this? Even when Brits come here, they depict Jews this way. For example, Veep is a show that starred Julie Louis-Dreyfus and was produced by the same people who created the UK show The Thick of It. At one point in the Veep show, the characters are at a fair, and some of the characters freak out because there is a pig there, and they think it'll cost them Jewish voters. Now, it's pointed out in the show that nobody's going to give a damn, which is true, but it made me wonder why that joke is there at all. It must be because of the British producers. I don't think American creators would have even considered this being a thing. Jews in America don't give a fuck about seeing pigs. So I asked, the four-legged kind, the ones who wear a badge, that's another story.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
So I ask, in the UK, are Jews not white people? Yes, there are people of color who are Jewish, but that's not what I'm asking. What I want to know is there a person with white skin who happens to be Jewish, do they suddenly stop being white? Yes, race is a social construct, but within that construct, are Jews not white? And if they're not, how? How is a white Jew any less white than any other white. I know the Israelis think they're white. That's why they happily worked with apartheid South Africa. But is there a listener who could help me with this, especially if you're from Britain? Also, as a bonus, if you could explain how the fuck you are not European, that would also help, because I didn't understand the whole Brexit thing. You're all in Europe. I'm sorry. I hate to tell you this. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to the summary.
Okay, then.
Very briefly, unless you have the answer to that, George, do you know?
Nope, I sure the fuck don't, Joe. Because Jews are historically Arab? Or, I mean, Semite? I mean,
Semites.
They're Semitic.
Semitic.
They're from the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that white people are from the Middle East.
They're also not from the Caucasus.
In fact, being white in the Middle East would lead to skin cancer. If that's where your ancestors would have died of skin cancer all the time. That's why they're not white there.
I guess.
I don't know, Joe.
Well,
it feels like British are weird.
So please write in and let us know. Well, you're also writing emails to complain about George's anti-religious thing, which I'm shocked by. I knew nothing about it. Very briefly, Frankie Four Fingers, the leader of the gang that opens the movie, is posing as Jewish to travel to London for a meeting with diamond dealer Doug the Head, on behalf of Jewish American organized crime figure Cousin Avi to fence the stolen diamonds. Okay? Yes. Is Avi Jewish? I presume he must be if he heads Jewish American organized crime. And yes, I am using the character names rather than the actors, mixing it up a bit for this episode because why not? Meanwhile, illegal boxing promoter Turkish is forced to enter his boxer, Gorgeous George, in a match against one of crime boss Bricktop's fighters. Things get complicated when Gorgeous George gets his ass kicked by Brad Pitt. I'm sorry, I mean Mickey O'Neill. So Mickey is then recruited to box. The fight, by the way, is rigged, and Mickey is expected to take a dive, something he seems to be constitutionally unable to do.
Well, yeah, because if he did, the movie would end.
Well, it would end differently anyway.
Huh.
As the story goes on, Frankie Four Fingers is killed in a botched robbery at an illegal gambling joint by Boris that was supposed to be robbed by the film's black representation, Saul, Vinny, and Tyrone. Whole bunch of stuff happens from there, but here is how the film ends. Mickey has a cartoonish boxing match where he gets punched and literally flies up in the air. Somehow he doesn't have a concussion or broken jaw, nothing. He just pops up and kicks ass. This is now the second time he fails to take a dive, but he has a trap for Bricktop. He has him as well as his crew massacred. The following day, Saul and Vinny get arrested for the dead body in their trunk. Turkish and his sidekick, Tommy, survive. They even get the diamond everyone is after that a dog ends up swallowing. Doug lets Avi know they now have the diamond. The end. George, I left out a lot. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I'm going to spoil a little bit. I love this movie, Joe.
Okay.
I think it's a fantastic movie. There's a lot of good characters in it. Like, all the characters are characters. They have things that make them unique and stand out, whatever. Mickey talks like a pikey, as they're called, apparently, there, which I guess is a less racist way to say gypsy.
Except he's also Irish.
So, I don't know, who the fuck knows? But, so you can't understand, I mean, you can kind of understand what Mickey is saying, but Turkish is not allowed to understand what he's saying, right? That's the joke.
It's also curious that his name is Turkish. He never actually says he's Turk, so why is he Turkish? What is that?
He opens the movie with a diatribe about that.
Oh, really? I forgot.
He said he was named for a plane crash.
Oh, you are correct. I forgot about that. It does say that. Right, and that's the name of the airline, right. It's Turkish Airlines. Got it. Sorry, I forgot.
So that's that. There is no romantic subplot to this movie.
None.
Which is kind of amazing. Like, nobody gets a girl.
There are no girls, except two.
There's two. Doug the Head's daughters, who are identical twins.
I guess, and also Mickey's mom, I guess, technically.
And Mickey's mom, who, the reason that Mickey fights and decides to murder the fuck out of Bricktop and all of his people is because after he throws the first fight, Bricktop has his mother's caravan or trailer burned to the ground with her asleep inside of it.
Which tends to piss people off.
Does tend to piss people off, yeah. I don't know, that's just some more of the highlights of the film.
Okay, that's cool. All right, my friend, let's get into the discussion then. Now, here's something very interesting that just occurred to me. I wonder, like, we saw Thelma and Louise, and we mentioned it earlier for Brad Pitt's credits, and that film got accused of being misandry because it portrayed men as bad. And I've noticed that whenever there seems to be a film by a female director or sort of feminist part of it, and it portrays men as bad, it's misandry. But why is it films like this misandry? This portrays men as complete pieces of shit. I mean, these guys, uniformly, just about everyone in this film is a jerk, is a gun-toting lunatic. Okay, maybe Turkish doesn't actually shoot anybody, but he's still a criminal. They're all crooks. So why is that not misandry?
Because it's just a movie, Joe.
So was Thelma and Louise and all these feminist films.
But the Thelma and Louise starred two women, and therefore it could be misandry. It wasn't misandry. It's not misandry if guys are doing it to ourselves.
I see. It's like black people in the N-word.
It's misandrbation.
Thank you. How long did you think of that one?
I just made it up.
Okay.
No, I didn't. How the fuck would I come up with that before this?
You had that joke years ago. Now I can finally use it.
Nope. I misandrbation. That's me just now.
Thank you very much. All right. Yeah, I agree. It's not misandry whatsoever. I just
I don't even think the Thelma and Louise misandry. People will accuse things of being misandry because their fucking masculinity is so fragile that it can't take a portrayal that isn't slobbing their fucking knob at every moment.
It is very funny. If the guy is violent in a movie that's feminist, it's bad. But if they're just violent and just the dudes shooting each other, what's the big deal?
Yeah. Assholes are hypocrites, Joe. Who knew?
Okay. According to what I read, the two parts of this film that got the most attention is Brad Pitt's performance as Mickey, where his speech, as you mentioned, is unintelligible, and Bricktop's speech about how to dispose of a dead body by feeding it to pigs. What do you think of those two parts of the film?
I think it's a really well-written film. There had to be two moments that are going to stand out. The how to dispose of a dead body sticks enough that I made it the cold open. And I didn't even have a hard time coming up with it, and I have had a hard time coming up with cold opens lately. Mickey's speech being unintelligible is just viral fodder. You don't even need to get much of it. Like, you can just pick any of it and make it mean whatever the fuck you want it to.
Okay. Jason Statham these days is an action hero. How did you like him as a normal guy in this movie?
I think he's a good actor. And I think he did normal guy really well.
Yeah, I think he's a much better actor than you would think. I mean, not that in the movies I've seen him and he's fine, but it really doesn't ask him to do much. He's basically... when Bricktop's thugs are in his apartment and he's like backing up and he runs into Bricktop and Bricktop's like, I just had those shoes shined. Like, Jason Statham his character maintains this just like, is this fucking happening? Look on his face the entire time, and it's great. Yeah, he's very good. In a way, I think it's almost a very Adam Sandler type thing, whereas Adam Sandler plays a goofball in a lot of his films, and you might think, well, he can't act because his characters are terrible. But when he actually has an acting role where he's actually asked to perform dramatically, he can do it. He's really good at it. I think it's the same thing with Jason here. It's too bad he's not given a real opportunity to do real acting work as opposed to jumping over cars. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but he's just capable of more.
Yeah.
Clearly, I think. Compared to other hyper-violent films we've seen, how much of a cartoon will you say this film is?
This is absolutely a cartoon. This is 100% cartoon. Dogs swallowing squeaky toys and diamonds. Frankie Fourfingers getting shot off camera by, not Cousin Abby, fucking Doug. Doug shooting Frankie Fourfinger, but you don't see him get shot. You just see Doug firing wildly and then calling and, hey, Frankie, come on. Frankie? Frankie? Oh.
Yes, this is a wildly violent film, and yet at the same time, it's not. I mean, I've seen slasher pictures with a lot more violence. even though there's not as much shooting and stuff, you see people stabbed and knife.
Boris the Blade at the other end of the hallway, and Frankie Four Fingers just pack. Fuck you. Pack.
He keeps having to shoot.
Motherfucker. Pack.
It's true. It's very fun. It's a funny way to do it. It is a cartoon. Even someone gets their arm cut off and you don't really see it. It's not. There's surprisingly little blood in a picture with so much violence in it.
Yeah.
Did the soundtrack work for you?
Oh, absolutely. The soundtrack is fantastic for the movie. I can't remember a single song that's in it, but everything fits really well.
No, I agree. Well, I'll give my summary later, but yeah, I think the soundtrack works. I think the acting for what it's asked to do works.
All right. So you're a former film major. What do you think of the auteur theory, where the director is considered king, even though filmmaking is a collaborative art? How does it apply here? That's a sentence I would have written.
The auteur theory dates back to, I think, the 50s, maybe even further back than that. But with guys like Hitchcock and stuff, like they thought they were like Hitchcock always thought actors didn't mean anything. He was the real true creative there, and he would do, panels, have panels written up. He didn't stay on set to direct people. He'd have them follow the panels, and then he'd go fuck off somewhere. Incredible. That his films are as good as they are, considering he acted that way. I do not believe in auteur theory. I think there's a collaborative effort. I think everyone brought some good stuff to this. So, yeah, Guy Ritchie, I think, is a very good director. He knows how to keep things moving. It keeps it exciting. He knows how to be violent without grossing you out, which is what I always hate in slasher films. Like, there are directors who are like, hey, look how great we have the blood squirting out of someone. We got the girl's throat being cut. And I'm like, I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
This is a type of violence you can still watch. It's cartoon again. It's Mickey Mouse. It's not Mickey Mouse. It's a Bugs Bunny type violence. Warner Brothers type cartoons from the 30s.
Elmer Fudd type. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, guy gets shot full in the face and he's still alive.
Or Tom and Jerry. Or Roadrunner and Coyote.
Yes, those sort of things. So yes, I don't believe in auteur theory. I think that our art in general usually is collaborative, but especially filmmaking. So that's what I feel about that. That's bullshit.
All right.
Guy Ritchie is a good director, but he was also assisted.
So what did you think of this as a film?
As a film, I think it holds together very well. Again, you got to be in the mood for it, I think. It ain't Shakespeare. This is not, you cannot go into this like this is a serious film and you want to see serious filmmaking about a serious topic. It's not. I mean, I'm not even sure the British can get a hold of guns the way they do in this picture. I mean, they regulate guns really hard. This is not America. This film is set in. It's set in the UK. And these motherfuckers are running around with weapons. At one point, Dennis Farina's character is shooting a gun outside a window. People would have been freaking the fuck out if that were really in England. They don't have that. That's America. Shooting guns outside my window in the States, that would be like, it's another Tuesday. But not in the UK. You get they go like, what the fuck? Oh, sorry. What the bloody fuck? So, yeah.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell? Hey,
Right.
what's all that noise then?
So the opening features rapid-fire montage and character-free frames. What do you think of that as a way to start a film? But I'm going to answer this also.
Go ahead.
It's comic book. Like, it's opened like a comic book, which is exactly like the kind of story that it is.
Yeah, I think it is meant to add to the script. If you are, like, because this is, even though both Guy Ritchie and Tarantino do violent type films, Tarantino really relies on language. He's very big on cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. He has humorous lines as Guy Ritchie, but he also wants to make sure, hey, you don't enjoy the dialogue, here's some flashy stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So he's much more of a flashier filmmaker than Tarantino, even though they cover the same sort of subject matter. But in terms of rapid-fire montage and character freeze, right, I think it works. I read some reviews at the time comparing it to like MTV, but that reference will mean nothing to people going forward because MTV doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
And I think it's its own thing. I actually don't. I mean, he may have been influenced by MTV. I have no idea. Or because he did. I think Guy Ritchie did direct videos. I think that may have been how he met his wife, Madonna, his ex-wife. Yeah, I think the rapid fire stuff works. This is not a movie with character development. But in terms of filmmaking, it's flashy and the flash works.
Alrighty. Brad Pitt is still the biggest star of this film. What did you think of his performance?
I had no problem with his acting in this film. He was meant to be funny, and he's funny in it, and it's, humorous he can't speak. And again, it's a cartoon, so I really can't hold this against the film, but I did find it kind of funny that this man is supposed to be a bare-knuckle fighter. Dude is too pretty. That face has never been hit, or not hit enough, for me to believe he's a bare-knuckle fighter. That man takes care of that face. There's no way he's a fighter. No, his nose isn't fucked up or anything. His face is, oh, come on. He's too pretty. He's too pretty.
Fair. That's a fair critique. All right. How would you rate this as a crime film?
As a crime film, I actually don't think much of it, but as a comedy, or as a
action comedy.
Action comedy, that's a better word for it. Yeah. Those two words, action comedy. Yeah. As an action comedy film, I think it's very good. So I guess I'm going to reveal, I think it still works. I guess we're already...
Yeah, we're at the conclusions now.
We're already at the conclusion anyway. Yeah, I think it still works. As a film, it's entertaining. It's 26 years old, and I still think it's pretty fresh, actually.
Yeah. Like, the only thing that I'm worried about, I don't know about pikey. Like, I know...
that might be a slur today.
I don't know. Like, I feel like they may have been dodging the slur by using pikey instead of saying the word that we don't use anymore.
Yeah, I got that impression as well. That's also what I think about the whole Jewish thing. I think in his script, I'm convinced of this, that he wrote them as Jewish, and then someone, either he or someone else giving them like, that's kind of...
They should be pretending. Otherwise, you're an anti-Semite.
Pretend Jews, so we won't get in trouble. That would be my guess. Yeah, I think pikey, and people can write in if we're getting it wrong, if like the slur. But as far as I know, and I didn't really research this, but as far as I know, it's not a slur of any sort. I think it's made up for the film, but we're not British, so it's possible there's all sorts of slurs that we just don't know because we don't use them in the estate, so we never heard anybody say them. God knows, because and then there are some slurs that are not slurs here, but are slurs there. Like, well, not a slur, but shag, apparently a very dirty word in the UK. I can say shag in church. Nobody's going to care. Mm-hmm. not a dirty word here. So that sort of thing. So you never know. But yeah, I mean, we've already reached our conclusion. George thinks it works. I think it works. It works. It still works.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's an enjoyable picture. It's not too taxing on the brain.
It's not terribly long.
Not terribly long. I think it could have been a little shorter. I don't think it needed as many characters as it has in it. It's almost as if Guy Ritchie had a bunch of friends he wanted to give jobs to. So I was like, hey, we need work. Sure, guys, come on, be in my picture.
Which, I mean, that accounts for a lot of how actors get work.
True enough, I guess. God knows. Who was it? John Sayles. John Sayles. We're constantly looking at his pictures like, oh, we've seen him in that other picture. We've seen him in the other John Sayles. Clearly, he's hiring his friends.
Adam Sandler, same thing.
Oh, God, yes, Adam Sandler. Tons of people he obviously is pals with because they're constantly in his picture. No, it's true. So you can't really hold that against them. Just an observation. Okay, both agree it works. George, what's up next?
Next week, we're talking about Point Break from 1991.
Oh, didn't even know that was on the list. I have never seen this picture.
Me neither. Nope.
Okay. I've heard so much about it. It's one of those films. Alex, I haven't seen it, but my understanding is the film would have made more sense if they were both gay. I don't know. No. That's what I understand is that apparently these guys are in love with each other, but they can't show it or have it. So it's got to be two straight dudes and they're just pals and he just already likes them as opposed to like, no, these guys will be fucking. Which totally means they should reboot Point Break and make it as two gay guys. Broke back, break, Point Break.
Broke back, broke Point Break. That's a fucking mouthful, Joe.
Boy, would it be.
But, tis.
So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm George Romaka. Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Romaka.
This content is CAN credentialed.
which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org. The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
Joe, do you have enough saved up for
you gotta say cold open take one.
That's right. I do have to say cold open take one. Cold open take one. Dear Britney Spears, I don't mind gym class, but I hate changing in the locker rooms. All right. Dear Britney, my best friend's been dating a guy for a while and she really likes him. The other night I was shopping at the mall and I saw him holding this other girl's hand and kissing her. All right. Dear Britney, my younger sister and I go to the same school. I'm a junior and she's a freshman.